Hello everybody, this is Albert with Green Tea House. I hope you're doing well today. Today we're going to talk about one of the most popular teas and certainly one of the most popular black teas out there, which is chai tea. Now before we begin, if you would like to, I would recommend you check out our back catalog of episodes, in particular the playlist on Tea 101, what is tea, what's the difference between black tea, green tea, and so forth, and the videos we have on what temperature you should steep, how often you should steep, and so forth. So we sell a Mumbai chai, and so chai tea is this. Chai tea, I think, is one of the most popular teas out there. I think that the majority of people who drink a black tea are probably drinking a chai tea, even though English tea, and as we just talked about, the longer Earl Grey, are black teas. I think chai is a very popular tea, and certainly if you look probably at global population, chai is probably being more consumed, I would say, than English tea. And why is that? Well, chai tea, just understand, so chai tea comes from India, it comes from South Asia, and chai means tea in Hindu. So when we say chai tea, we're saying tea tea. They don't call it tea tea or chai tea, or that you want to have a chai. They'll call it a masala. So masala means like a spiced tea. So it's going to be a spiced black tea. The most popular of the spiced or masala teas is going to be the one that we call chai tea. I know this is confusing. So it's going to be black tea with ginger, cloves, cardamom, and cinnamon. It's going to be that kind of mixture. So what we would call at a coffee shop or a tea shop, hey, I want a chai tea, that's what you're ordering, the one with ginger, cinnamon, cloves, and cardamom. But just understand the word chai means tea. So you're saying I want a tea. So if you go to India, then you would say you want a masala. But then again, there's a variety of different spice teas, like Bangladesh, Thailand has their own with a little more turmeric in it. And so there's just a variety. So masala is kind of like a generic, general term for spice teas. And then the most famous of those spice teas is what we would call a chai tea. All right, that being said, I love this tea. I don't drink anything with milk and sugar, but I can drink this one plain. And I drink all of them plain, but there's just something about this combination of ingredients with the cinnamon, the cardamom, and the cloves that just makes it great, especially in the winter. I talked about in past episodes how I think if people who drink a lot of tea, in the summer they tend to drink the more lighter herbaceous teas like green teas and white teas, and then in the winter we kind of gravitate more toward the darker oolongs, the blacks, and the dark. So I think certainly in cold times, we're going to be drinking more chai. And the majority of people who do drink a chai put milk and sugar in it because that's the way it's drunk in South Asia, and it just tastes good, right? There's this thing about black tea, like I talked about in the blue flower Earl Grey, because black tea is fully oxidized and the leaves are crushed to a crisp. What that does is it releases a lot more flavor, that robust flavor that you're not getting on a no oxidized green tea that you're really getting in a black tea. So this is why a lot of people would say that black tea is very sweet, or even if you drink it without milk and sugar, there's a certain robust taste to it. And we'll certainly talk about it in the Pour episode upcoming, how they have like hints of caramel and chocolate you find in black tea. But when you add that, and this is why only black teas can be mixed with milk and sugar, because they're already kind of rich and robust. There's just it's a beautiful taste if you mix it well with milk and sugar. And we'll have a video later here at the channel on how to do a great chai. So the large majority of chai teas you're going to find on the market use CTC, which is crushed tear curl. So it's the pulverized leaf. And we talked about earlier in the blue flower Earl Grey episode how black tea you're going to find in two different iterations. One is going to be the full leaf still, which we call the orthodox leaf. And the other one is going to be where they put it through the machinery to make it like pulverized sand. And as a whole, the orthodox tea, or the full loose leaf teas, which are cut into smaller pieces, are going to be a higher quality tea. So we don't sell a CTC version. The majority of chai teas that you will find on the market are going to be CTC. So if you look at our tea, it's going to be orthodox tea that is chopped up, and so therefore it's a higher quality tea, and that's what you should be looking for when you get a chai. Caffeine levels, it has a pretty decent amount of caffeine. It is a black tea, so as we know, black teas as a whole, we're going to have more caffeine than, let's say, a green tea, unless you're looking at a matcha and a gyokura, which have more caffeine. But in the tea world, black teas, we have that episode on like the factors that make something have more caffeine, and there's a study that said that essentially all the different colored teas from the Camellia sinensis plant have equal amount of caffeine, but I think that in general, most people would say that black tea has more caffeine. And what temperature should you steep it? I'd say about 185 to 200. Again, in China, they don't really have a certain rule on it. They're just kind of like whatever tastes the best. So certainly it's not like if you do it too hot, it's going to ruin it. Black teas, there's a lot more latitude on the temperature that you can steep it, as opposed to the green teas, where if you do a green tea too hot, you make it way too bitter. So when you're drinking our black tea, you can do it at 185, you can try it at 195, you can try it at 200, 205, and see which of the tastes that you like. But no doubt, chai tea or masala tea is exceedingly popular tea, and for a reason. There's something about that concoction of the kind of robust sweetness of black tea mixed with those spices that makes it really, really great. And if you like something that is not caffeinated, that you want to drink at night, that's got the same spice profile, we do have a Ruobo chai tea that it's going to have a similar taste profile, but it's going to be non-caffeinated. So you might want to check that one out. Guys, post in the comments, what's your experience with chai tea? Until next time, take care. God bless.